Well, morning everybody, and today you find us not far from Aylesbury in the little town of Wendover. Now, Wendover is a lovely town. It's always been wanting to come in for a long time. There's quite a few nice little buildings and ghosty places, and there's a bit of legend and folklore here. So I've not told you anything about any ghosts or anything, have I?
No, absolutely not.
So if I do know, because I know where they're supposed to be, if I do come across the places, that we'll just see if you pick up on anything.
Yeah, okay.
Anyway, Lynn's got a bit of a bad leg, so I'm going to be doing most of the walking today, so she won't be with me in the boring bits. She'll only be with me in the exciting bits. Isn't that right?
Yeah.
So hopefully it's not going to rain, and we're a bit early for everything this morning, so we can't even get a cup of coffee at the moment, can we?
No.
Unless we go over there and get a Costa from Budgeons.
Oh, yes.
We may do that. But anyway, we're going to start this. Video on Wendover this morning, and you will be able to just keep up with me and see what goes on as things open. So we'll talk to you in a bit. So let's start off our visit today and pay a visit to probably Wendover's most iconic building, the Clock Tower. The Clock Tower was built in 1842 as a market hall and jail, but is now the Tourist Information Office and is a Grade 2 listed building. Now, there is an old drinking fountain here, which sadly looks like it's in need of repair, but I do like the way a lot of towns and villages are using the old red phone boxes as defibrillator stations. Now, this lovely looking old 17th century coaching inn is the old Red Lion, but is now the Bell and the Dragon at the Red Lion Hotel. Now, I couldn't find anything spooky regarding this hotel, but a very interesting story. A lady called Dolly Saville was still serving pints 3 days a week in the old Red Lion at 100 years old in 2014. She had served behind the bar for 74 years. Now, I have no idea if she still works there, but well done, Dolly. Very well done indeed. I've now turned the corner into London Road, where there is this lovely brightly painted 17th century pub, the King and Queen, to see Sid's second step. Sid's original step is outside the George and Dragon in Quainton, but he found out that the letter Y etched into the front step of a pub would signify that I might find a lady of the night within, if I had visited a couple of 100 years ago. And it is said these ladies would travel in the dead of night between here and the Red Lion by way of a secret tunnel. I was contacted by my friend and subscriber to the channel, Mick Smith, and she asked if I had ever visited this next site. So now I'm back on the high street again at a beautiful old Tudor building which houses antiques at Wendover and has a ghost or two. One of which is a young girl called Victoria who wears a white nightgown and follows people around the antique centre. There is also a grumpy old man ghost who is not angry with them or the owners and seems to like what they have done with the place. Now, when the shop did open, Lin unfortunately couldn't manage the stairs, so I went up on my own and I found it quite spooky, and particularly one portrait of an old lady which I found very creepy, and I was very relieved when I was joined by a party of Italian tourists. So here I am on Chapel Lane, quite a bit outside the village, because I'm on my way to the church, which, as I said, is quite a bit outside the village, because of a strange folklore tale and which I will tell you about as we get nearer to it. But I'm on my own because I've had to leave Lin in the car because her leg is playing her up. I've just come from Wendover Antiques, which is reputedly a very haunted place, and Lin couldn't make the stairs, so I went up there. And I must admit, I did feel slightly uncomfortable up there. So maybe we'll get her to go up there at another time and see if she finds anything. But anyway, this is the walk to the church. Well, by more luck than judgment, because I got a little bit, as usual, a bit lost on my walk to find the church. I've actually arrived at St Mary's Church in Wendover, where, as I said, there is a tale to tell, which I will tell as I'm filming going round. So once again, to tell this strange story, I have turned to my Bible, Buckinghamshire Folk Tales by Terry Howey. So the tale goes, Wendover was to have a new church, so the villagers raised the funds to buy the materials and for the payment of labour, and work started in the heart of the village. But on the first night, after the workers were asleep in their beds, a great cackling could be heard, and anyone brave enough to peer through their curtains saw the terrifying sight of witches pulling down the work done that day and carrying off the materials to a field further outside the village. Of course, the villagers weren't going to have a few witches telling them where they could build their church, so they brought everything back and started again. But the following night, the same thing happened. So they put a night watchman on site, but the witches tormented him so badly that he ran away home. In the end, the villagers decided to build the church where the witches kept depositing the materials, and the nightly terrors ceased. Now, I came across this little boy's grave when I came here some time ago, and I thought I'd find out as much as I could. So I will tell you the story as we go of what I found out, because it's always made me very sad that the statuette of him is in bits and the head's missing. But I will tell you the story of what happened to the lad. 9-year-old Norman Ray was the son of Wendover station master Edgar Ray and his wife Gertie, who lived in Victory Road, Wendover. It was sadly at the junction of Victory Road and Aylesbury Road that Norman was killed in an accident with a motor vehicle while out playing on July the 10th, 1926. A very kind gentleman sent me this picture of his funeral procession, starting at his home and then through the high street, escorted by the local scouts, of which he was one. It's such a shame that this beautiful memorial of him in his Cub Scout uniform is all broken into bits and the head missing. I really don't know why this one makes me so sad. Well, I'm having a little breather. As you probably saw, as I was in the church, I nearly went right over, missed the last step, nearly fell flat on my face. But there you go. Wait something to tell Lin when I get back to the car. Or maybe I won't tell her. But anyway, that was a nice little walk around St Mary's at Wendover, and it's very nice in there because they've got these little switches that you can switch for. It's in the dark, but you can press this little switch that gives you daytime lighting, which just gives you a nice bit of a glow so that you can look around. and then you've just got to go out, and on the way out you can just press all off and it turns all the lights off. It's very eco-friendly. I like that. It's very good. It means that you can still go into the church and look around even though it's in darkness when you go in. That's brilliant, and it's a beautiful church, really nice. So I'm glad I went in and had a look. I left a donation in the box. Also, you can leave a card payment if you want, and as I say, I always leave a donation if I go into a church and do some filming, and I think it's just good manners. Beautifully kept place, and it's been a delight to come to Wendover today. There's a lot of history here. It's a beautiful village. It's got loads of lovely places for eating. Parking's free on a Sunday down by the library, and also where I've just parked, which is by the cricket field. So if you fancy a visit on a Sunday to Wendover, and you want to go to one of the beautiful eateries for a full breakfast, I've literally just been for full English at the Istanbul, which is a Turkish restaurant. I had a traditional English breakfast in there, and it was one of the best I've had in ages. So very nice indeed. So it's been a lovely trip to Wendover. I hope you've enjoyed the video. If you have, if you could please just give it the usual thing, give it a thumbs up, because a thumbs up, a like, really does help with the way YouTube distributes it to other people. And if you're not already a subscriber, if you could subscribe and press the little bell so that you receive notifications, that would be fantastic. So thank you for accompanying me on this trip around Wendover in Buckinghamshire, and see you again soon. Thank you. Bye bye.